We got our hands on this lengthy lawsuit. We're talking over 160 pages of accusations that claim EMU knew of these violent and brutal rapings, yet did little to nothing about it, sweeping them under the rug. Believe it or not, you have to be tougher than the average to make it as a wrestler. Well, it doesn't look like it right now, but this golf course was definitely affected by this water main break. One of the only ways to truly see all the devastation done is to go skyward. You can feel the sense of devastation right here in the air. Flint police still right here on the scene, blocking off both sides of the street where this explosion happened. That young girl's body was found in a vehicle, just like you said, right behind me in this alleyway. And so Mr. Premium is going to be out here every single Monday and Wednesday, skateboarding with everyone and trying his best to basically show them exactly what to do. As far as Chandler's skate park, they'll be done in about the next 10 days or so. Victor Williams, Local 4. Yeah, that's right, Demond and Karen. We know that they are trying their best to get this man off of the streets. The victim in all of this still is very confused. He's wondering why this guy did not take any of his money, but instead just walked up and started firing shots. Now, police are looking into this, and they're saying that this may be a part of a bigger picture with him being targeted.
Got shot with a machine gun, bro.
It's not something many people can say they survived, but less than 24 hours after being shot multiple times, 64-year-old double amputee Clayton Willis is back on the street and asking for help.
Just trying to keep my house so I keep my bills paid up. I've been away alcohol and crack 23 years. And I'm trying to live to see or under, sir.
Sadly, Sunday, a man armed with an automatic-type pistol tried to end it all.
I didn't get a chance to see the man because he had a mask on his face. But when I turned around, man, I'm like, fell out the wheelchair right there and then shot me in the head right here twice.
Clayton was also grazed by a bullet in the back of the head. Unfortunately, he couldn't get away after his legs were amputated due to frostbite back in 2000.
I'm puzzled, man. I'm lost. Why? What makes this man come up here with a machine gun and shoot me in the back of the head?
Commander Vernell Newson with DPD believes he has an answer.
We've been dealing with a rash of panhandler victims, if you will, where they've been threatened. And we learned this just recently from our investigation.
Either way, it's something the community hasn't been okay with.
That ain't cool, man. We don't be bothering nobody, man. They don't deserve that.
The type of person that would do that, you know, is just a monstrous type of individual.
I'm crying inside that I'm praying to Jesus that the police catch him.
And you just can't help but feel for this man. We know that police are still looking for the shooter. It's believed that he may have walked towards a mobile gas station and then got inside of a car and then took off. So if anyone lives in that area, police, they need your help in order to bring this man to justice. Reporting live downtown tonight, Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, thanks, Victor.
Yeah, all of this is just so unfortunate, Jason and Rhonda. We know that the youngest victim was only 14. The oldest was 20. Take a look right behind me. This is the scene that has been this way for the past few hours. But we know that after the shooting happened, there was another crash near Michigan and Prospect where one person was in the right place at the right time.
They're fighting for their life right now, but I pray that they make it.
Kendrick McBride is hoping he made a difference when he decided to help a car full of teens who had just crashed after being shot in Ypsilanti.
You know, God told me, open the back seat. When I opened the back seat, he was slumped over, grabbed him. I held his head straight and just kept talking to him, you know. As he was going in and out, he got shot in the head. Now, he like 19, 20 years old.
Evidence markers show just how much gunfire erupted in the 800 block of George Place where the shooting originated. Jamie McKee was worried about her mother who lives nearby.
As my mother called me, she said her car been hit, and I just want the gun violence to stop.
Both are hoping for the best outcome possible.
We really don't know what happened. We know 4 been shot, but we don't know really what happened. And bullets hurt.
Kendrick is especially pulling for the young man he helped to make it.
Just praying with him, kept telling him to talk to God. Keep praying, keep talking to God. Don't give up. Don't give up. He didn't give up. You hear me? He was still breathing. you know. Then the ambulance, it was like 10 minutes. It took 10 minutes for the ambulance to get there.
And we are in the very early stages of the investigation. As you guys can see, all of these officers are still on the scene. They're looking for evidence. But as we understand, there is no one in custody just yet. So if you guys know anything watching police, they definitely want to hear from you. In Ypsilanti tonight, Victor Williams, Local 4.
All right, Victor, thank you.
Abdullah reaching into his tights, pulling out some sort of object. We may have to call this. Oh!
I was wrestling everybody in there.
Larry Shreve, a.k.a. Abdullah the Butcher, spent the 1970s through the early 2000s as one of the most brutal pro wrestlers in the industry, wrestling for companies all across the globe. Over the span of his career, he's gone head-to-head with legends such as Hulk Hogan,
battling back simply.
Bruiser Brody,
and there he goes. Look at that karate.
And Andre the Giant.
Now this is competition. This is what Abdullah has always wanted.
Earning multiple championships internationally. But despite all his success, the WWE Hall of Famer barely has a penny to his name.
All what I've worked for in the wrestling business by acting crazy, beating my head up against the wall, doing this, doing that, I might not have nothing pretty soon.
Abdullah says he struggled in school and never learned how to read or write. Eventually, he dropped out and started wrestling around the age of 17. Now in his 80s, he never thought his life would end up in this position.
Well, at 82 years old, I sit in my room a lot of times, and you see that I work for nothing.
Abdullah says being illiterate has cost him a lot, especially financially. One example, he says he lost $2.3 million in a lawsuit to another wrestler in 2014 because he couldn't understand the legal process. He says he had no idea he was being summoned to court and lost the case by default.
His sister called in from Canada and said, Abdullah, do you realize you lost some lawsuit in Canada? And he said, what lawsuit?
Malika Marshall is the assistant who has now stepped in the role of translator for the wrestler whenever he needs to read or write.
This is an 82-year-old man, so he's about to lose everything.
Back in his glory days, Abdullah the Butcher really believed in giving back to the community. After all, right here in Southwest Atlanta was the location of one of his restaurants that is now closed down, right next door to the William Walker Rec Center, where he also played a very big part.
He put on a show at our site up there, fundraising to help support our youth program at the gym. He and his wife also donated supplies and equipment for our facility when they built it in 1997. Abdullah was always a mentor to our kids.
Other wrestlers like Ranger Ross say Abdullah has always tried placing his local community first over anything else.
Here's a guy, he would give you the shirt off his back.
The same thing is echoed by Abdullah's former tag team partner from Japan, Greg Brown.
He's still Butch to me, you know, he's still Butch.
Abdullah says he made a fine living as a wrestler, but feels his inability to read has cost him in the long run. He also says the profit from the final restaurant that bears his name is going elsewhere.
In my opinion, I've been ripped off so bad it's unbelievable, and still getting ripped off.
It's one sad road he doesn't want anyone going down.
I tell every kid, every entertainer, make sure you go to school. Because if you don't go to school, in the long run, you're the loser.
Victor Williams, Local 4.